Hi.
Started. Hi.
Yes,
Hi.
it started. I am Juana, and this is my husband Gaspar. And we are happy to make this hangout tonight. We really thought a lot about it, having a lot of fun. And I may start laughing. We may have technical problems because we don't really know how it works. We hope that in the future it will be better. And we'll try to share with you our experience on how our relationship improved. Yeah, so we'll
start, tell some stories and find how it changed over the time.
Thinking about this topic relationship, we first come up with another title of like something changed and we don't really know what.
Yeah.
And then we started to think what actually did change? How did we get to enjoy each other more and have more fun, which we really have now. And thinking of that, I've come with 3 points and some stories, which encourage also Gaspar to come with some stories. And we're going to share one with totally 2 different points of view on that. That's really funny. So let's start. Our first important thing that we discovered, what happened to us, is that we dropped expectations. Sometimes, because sometimes it just happens and we don't realize that we have them and we get disappointed and we'll get engaged in all that thinking. Yeah. But when we realize it, it feels really good and it feels like getting further in our understanding of the 3 principles and how we work and of each other and how we work.
And noticing like, oh, I'm doing that, oh my god, again. Yeah.
You start.
Good. The story that we wanted to share about totally different experiences, the same story from 2 different points of view, was we agreed to travel to Munich, and I got there a little bit sooner, so like 1 or 2 days before, and Anna was coming back from the business trip. So she called in between the planes and or before flying, I think before flying, and the question was, will you pick me up from airport? And in Munich airport is like 45 minutes away. And I was tired, like no way I'm going there. And she get disappointed and just silence. Like, so I realized I said something wrong with it. And but I was tired at that moment. I walked like the whole day in the city. And somehow we decided just to stop the conversation at that point and stop engaging in non-productive conversation, and we'll figure it out what we'll do. And then I decided somehow I started to think why I'm reacting in that way. And the first, after some time, I got to the conclusion, yeah, because I feel it's like an expectation. So I'm happy to do that and go and pick up. But if if it's demanded, or I perceive it as demanded, so I'm totally resistant to it. And the next step was finding or getting the question why she does it in that way. Doesn't she realize that it somehow prevents her from getting what she needs, or totally change the attitude? Like, the poor thing, she's too tired and she doesn't realize. And so after I said something outside, cooled down a little bit. So just, okay, I have enough time, I can go back to the hotel, have some break, like half an hour, get some book, drive there, read the book during the train ride. It will be fine. So that's what I did, and it was a really good experience. So you got there, picked up, we got back to the city, and we just spent some fun time together, and it was totally fine. But changing the attitude, it was interesting realizing the moment when the attitude changed. So that was the my part of the story. One has a different part of the story.
Oh yeah, I actually have a different part and a different point. This one is not really related to expectations from my side. It was one of my biggest insights related to my ego and how I see myself and how I want others to see myself. And that was actually also very funny to discover that we have understood two different things from the same story and the same experience, actually. And what happened to me? If I remember right, it was Friday.
Yeah.
I have been like the whole week in Germany, and being with the work in Germany is really exhausting for me, because I'm talking German, which is a foreign language, and there are all the time decisions to make, and we have meetings and discussions at the headquarters, and strategies, and I was really tired. And Gaspar was already in Munich. I had to travel to Munich, and I was really looking forward for him to pick me up, because I didn't want it to bother and put any effort in finding out where our apartment was, what train I have to go, and then change and go through all that information with Google Maps and so on. I was really tired. And hearing what he said, no, I am definitely not going to come. Just I felt disappointed, and I realized that I felt disappointed, and that feeling was an indicator for me that my thinking is off track, that it wasn't the thinking that I wished to have, and that I cannot trust it at that moment. And realizing that, I just told him, let's stop the conversation. I don't want to go with it further, because we would have probably engaged in some going down spiral. And that's what we did, and I did. I said, let's end, and we just ended the conversation. And yeah, I found a colleague who drove me to the hotel. It was such a beautiful autumn day. It was still sunny outside, so I think it was over 15 degrees. And at the hotel, I was checked out and just went to the restaurant on the terrace. I got a glass of wine and some delicious pasta. And birds were singing. And it was a perfect moment to relax and to shut off from work and staying there and enjoying the moment. It just hit me. I was, why on earth didn't I tell Gaspar how much I needed his help? Because that is what it was. I needed his help. I needed your help, and I know you're totally enjoying to help me and you're willing to do that. And it came to me in one moment of, I'm not that kind of woman. I'm not the kind of woman who asks for help and support. I'm independent and I'm a strong woman and all these kind of things related to my self-image, why I want to be and how people want to perceive me. So yeah, that's the point out of this story for myself. I really caught ego in action, and I realized what prevents me from having a connection and getting what I need at certain moments, is the way I want to be seen. And that was very interesting to discover.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was interesting to compare experiences and discover that we had a totally different reasoning in the situation, totally different everything, view on it. But it ended fun in the end.
Yeah,
Enjoyable.
this is one of our stories where we got more understanding about ourselves and about our relationship, and which brought us a little bit further. What we forgot to say, I think that it's the first time we use Google Hangouts for that, and we didn't completely manage to understand how it works. So, I can see that we have like switching 1 to 2 viewers, and if you have some questions, you will have to try to post them on Facebook page. We'll see them there with the event, because we don't know how we can see them here. So
Yeah.
that would be that would be my request. You think we can see them?
We can see them in a moment.
You have to do something about it. So
you can also say hi in there. That would be
okay.
good. So the other, I'll refresh it after some time. Event page. Good. So yeah, we can do the next one.
Yeah. I have also a story about expectation, which I think had a huge impact on how we developed. And when I entered this relationship last year, I've just gotten out of almost 5 years relationship with another partner, and it was a very good and enjoyable relationship. So we had fun, and we had a lot of activities in common that we enjoyed. And at some point, I decided that it's not what I want to have for the rest of my life, and then decided to exit a relationship. Because also of some technical issues, with Gaspar being from Armenia, me from Romania, we just decided to move together because we didn't find any other way of building the relationship. And yeah, for me it was somehow getting another character in this story, like changing characters. And I was used to have things in a way, like having my old partner, we're doing a lot of things together. I go to the movies and drinking and party and different stuff. And then Gaspar was not doing and enjoying all this stuff. And every time that I asked him, do you want to do that and go there and do that, and it was a no. It was like breaking the whole world for me, and I was very, very sad and disappointed all the time. I can remember a certain moment with that. It was Vlad's birthday, and we used to celebrate it before with the whole family, and everybody was enjoying and participating. And Gaspar had to work, I think, or at some point you joined shopping, but it was a total disconnecting and unpleasant experience for both for some reason. And now then we got home and he got to work and I was by myself just preparing the room and preparing everything, and felt terribly lonely. Oh, it's terrible how we can bring feelings back and emotions. Yeah. And yeah, it was a very hard moment for me. What was also even more difficult, it was that Vlad picks up all the time my state. And I remember that we got some guests, some kids over, and later in that day he made a tantrum. He just started to push some kids and started crying and shouting, and 1 hour like just throwing with toys at me. And that experience opened my eyes, and I asked myself the question, if do I want to live like that? So I choose Gaspar as a partner, and I wanted to build up a relationship with him, but I cannot do it while engaging in old thinking and getting caught in old experiences. I had to start fresh, so to leave the old experiences behind and just make space for new ones, not comparing all the time. Comparing was making me just not enjoy the experiences that I had. We had actually a lot of experiences, because every moment of every day is an experience and new one. Yeah. And the same was then going further when we were in June, going to the seaside. Like you were the whole morning just pending at the computer, and that was terribly annoying for me. So I get limited days of holiday in the year because I'm employed, and I want my holiday to be enjoyable and to spend it together. And we are not spending it together because you're working, and that's why the holiday was terrible. And I did some reflection. Do I really want to have this experience, a terrible experience, the holiday? Does it depend on Gaspar? And I decided that no, it depends. I was there. I had the sea and the weather and the pool and nothing to do, just to read and enjoy and hang out with Vlad, which I also don't get to do that much. And it's a beautiful opportunity for me to relax and have fun. Why do I feel so miserable? And realizing that it's me who chooses and to create that experience and to chooses to feel in that way.
Because you have a proper way of how the holiday should be spent.
Yes. And that changed it. That changed my view on things, and that changed then a lot us, because I dropped expectation about our relationship at that moment. So from experience to experience, where I realized more and more that I am creating that feelings, and they were not coming from Gaspar, the changing environment, but from me. It just, I dropped expectations slowly, and the fact that I dropped expectations created a safe place for Gaspar to develop, and he started to do the things that I wanted us to do. So we went like several times to the movies together, which I can remember that in the first month you were just saying, no,
Yeah,
you definitely
totally
never
like
do.
that.
Yeah.
But
So
it's fun.
the moment that
Yeah.
I dropped that expectations, and it just changed. So I was demanding, I was there over you, and you were just going back and pushing away. And when I gotten back, then you've come further. And it's very interesting how this changed and how it developed for us.
Yeah, so the expectations they somehow prevent seeing the other person.
That makes me go on to some other point which we manage very good lately. And this is taking feelings as an indicator for our thinking. And the moment we get bad feelings or low feelings, we don't want to call them bad, um, to realize that we cannot trust our thinking in that moment. And this is a thing what actually brought me further in a lot of relationships, not just the one with Gaspar, but also at work, also with Vlad, to catch the moment when I get negative feelings which make me feel uncomfortable or angry or disappointed or inferior, then I just don't trust my thinking at that moment and try to step back to interrupt the conversation if I'm engaged in a conversation.
And it changes over the time, usually, by itself, because it's interesting how it can switch by itself. So for me, it was interesting to find in the middle of some, in the beginning, when I had some arguing and some tense moments, I found myself at some moment that even if I'm angry at that moment, um, I'm able to keep, because I have that warm feelings towards Zora, I am able to keep that. Able to keep, remember that they are there. So even if I'm feeling at that moment angry, I know that I shouldn't trust this anger because there's something much better inside, under it. And it allowed me to also to be more, not to act on it, just wait until it passes. It pops up, the wall.
Do you remember how you realized that? When you
It
realized
was,
that?
yeah, actually we were outside in a park, and I don't remember what we were arguing. We were arguing about something.
We argued a lot.
Yeah. And at the very same moment, I realized that I'm willing to hug and somehow to give a space, just a physical space. Uh, Even being angry in that moment. So, and it was that when I somehow got the feeling that, oh, okay, I don't lost it in there. And I don't need to feel bad about that I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling angry. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect.
This is what you're saying is a little bit different
Yeah,
from what I
yeah,
was saying
yeah.
before, and I'm trying to understand what you really realized about that, because that's not, it doesn't work for me. And yeah, so when I'm angry, I cannot hug. That's definitely, and I'm
Out of the
not
question.
angry. Yeah, I don't need to after anything right now. So it's very interesting to accept that it can be something that I don't experience, because we are different. And yeah, what I was trying to say regarding feelings and that we cannot trust the thinking in that moment, it was funny, a few days before we were just discussing, I don't know if you remember, you remember, we're trying to start a bag business, like designing and selling bags. And we have plans for that, which includes a brand strategy. The brand strategy which I put together there with a lot of passion and imagination. And then at some point, Gaspar decides to include there a slide with things that he wants. Oh, and it was terrible when I've seen it, and it was like, I don't know, I got so disappointed, and like I really started to cry, and I started to say that, oh, I cannot relate to that brand, and I cannot do the business in that way, and then he should take care of that. And I was feeling bad, and I was realizing that, stop talking, just stop talking. I have to stop talking, because it's not me who's talking, and I don't want to say that thing that probably I will see it differently in a moment or in an hour. And looking at the feelings that I had and that I was crying, it was definitely not something I wanted to tell. And at some point, we just managed to stop the conversation. We were both somehow caught up in the moment, and then I think it just, it cut us away. And we didn't even mention it anymore at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I got I removed the slide, like in 1 hour I got a message, like, put it back. We need it.
Yeah, not we need it. How should I consider it? Because what Gaspar was saying is that he wants to be considered. And I said, how should I consider you if you deleted the slide? And put it back, and the next day we didn't even mention it anymore, and probably will even not use that presentation. So it's just, yeah. The point is that when we get that feelings, when we feel so bad, we should just totally not trust the thinking and stop that moment. Stop at that moment. And I got a very good metaphor for that. So thanks to Jack, maybe he will see this movie, having a clear point, then a story, and for this story I also have a metaphor to clearly express the point. And the metaphor is, when we are feeling bad, like with the stomach, we have a stomach ache, would you think of eating in that moment? No. I think nobody would think of eating. So if you feel bad, if you have a bad feeling, like in the stomach, then you stop eating. You trust the feeling, you maybe, I don't know, have something, and you just stop eating. So it will be the same with the feelings and the thinking and talking. When you're getting that bad feeling, you just
Stop feeding.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think our brain function pretty similar with our body, and that could be a good example for how we sometimes catch the sign and listen to what feelings tells us. Sometimes we don't realize that it's the same.
Good.
Yeah, we just discovered that it's somehow difficult to talk for an hour by yourself.
It's not by yourself, they have some one view or two view.
Yeah, I didn't meant it like that. I meant without interactions or interruptions. Just to having a free speech about the topics. But it's good that we prepared something. So the third topic that really improves our relationship, and that's also a takeaway for every relationship that we have, and it helped me in the relationship that I had, is the moods. Yes. It's the fact that we as human beings have moods. Sometimes our mood is low, and I don't know, we feel discouraged, and we don't enjoy anything, and we see just the world is grayish. And sometimes we just feel good and relaxed, and we enjoy everything. And having this understanding that this is how we work, and not just how we work, but also how the other persons work. It's not just us having moods, it's also the other person having moods, and recognizing that in us and in them, oh, it makes life so much easier. So we don't want others, when we are in a low mood, to take us serious, and we talk, oh, I hate you, I never want to see you again, or talk about a topic and something. And then I'm thinking after a few hours, I wish I never said that. And it's so great when Gaspar just ignores it. Yeah, we recently, in the winter holiday, Winter holiday. Yeah. I'm telling that story. Yeah. We've been to Yerevan to visit Gaspar's parents, and that story is linked to moods, to expectations, to everything. It was just everything in there, and we went there. Vlad stayed here in Romania with grandparents, and yes, Gaspar got sick. Ill. Sick.
Yeah, I was also, when we left, I was somehow had a cold, then got worse.
And not really just badly coughing, but also stomach pain. Terrible stomach pain. Day after day. So he was waking up in the morning, eating something, then going back to bed. Into his room, or no, into your room. And just lights out and there. And there was me thinking, I'm stuck here in here. And I was stuck in there. I don't really know anybody in the city, or hardly someone. I met some people, but I don't have any contact. Um, Gaspar uncle is also very sick and he's staying in bed. His mother cares about him, and me and his mother just having some amount of common language. I don't speak Russian or Armenian, and she speaks a little bit of German and English. Yeah, and it was a very interesting experience for me to see how my mood was changing from day to day, until one evening. I think it was Christmas evening or New Year evening, when I just started crying and started questioning our relationship, and we never really had something in common, and I think we discussed that for some time. And I kept crying, and yeah. And Gaspar was wise enough to just, I don't know, hold me and caress me. And then I fell asleep. And yeah, in the next morning, I think we didn't even mention it, or it just was all away.
It was good weather.
Oh. It was good weather outside, yes. And yeah, so I'm just grateful that you recognize that I was having a low mood. And I wish
to do anything.
Not to do anything, yeah. I wish that I have realized that and just didn't engage in that kind of thinking. But yeah, it happens.
Yeah, so being kind to each other in that moment, or just ignoring, not taking seriously what is said, it makes sense. Otherwise, I don't know where we'll end. We took it seriously.
In the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning we took it seriously.
Yeah, I can remember a talk in the car. We were coming back from Brussels at some point. I don't remember what we were talking about, but it was again just going lower and lower. I was feeling that and seeing that, how we just discussing, can we do that or can we not do that, and it was just all the time we will never manage, and just question. And I remembering also back then, like, okay, and said stop, no, we're not going anywhere. Yeah, so that's
improves. Give some safety also to express yourself, and to safety and freedom to feel bad at some moment.
And to get caught up by the mood, because we don't really catch it all the time.
Yeah.
And having the trust that the partner understands that we have mood, and just not take it seriously, is such a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I am really happy that we are having this webinar together. Because I was discussing with Jack of one of our coaching sessions that we together we are trying to do some seminar for businesses on how to work together, and team coaching, yeah. And I was telling Jack that that we didn't manage to find some time to talk about it and to work it out. And he was so funny. He was telling me, like, okay, so you're not managing to work with your partner on that, and you don't find the time, and you don't find agreement. That was also one. don't you think that participants at the seminar will ask you that question, or question that? They will say, we are not having the time, and we'll never reach an agreement. And what will you tell them if you didn't succeed to do that? So now looking back at that, I think that was in early summer, somewhere. And now half a year later, we just managed to do something together and having fun. We also started a business together, and it's also fun, and we discuss a lot of things and manage to find agreement. I think all this understanding and all this moving on is because of these three major points that we discussed today. Dropping expectations, or having an understanding that expectations keep us away from being in the moment. Taking feeling as an indicator for how much we can trust our thinking, and accepting each other's moods.
Human part on that. Yeah, because we are getting caught up in moods and we don't realize. So,
okay, now looking at everything, I can also come with another point, like that we are trying now to better listen to each other.
Yeah.
But I don't have any story about deep listening, just one with Vlad.
We had one when we discussed. I totally dislike the celebrations or some the New Year or birthdays there. Don't like that. It doesn't make much sense for me. And we somehow, on your birthday, it was somehow that we also didn't manage to really celebrate it. It was disappointing. And then we had a discussion. And for me, in the beginning, if it's just a celebration, it doesn't make any sense. Get some people, talk about something, or it doesn't make any sense. But at some moment while listening to you, I got like, you want to get all these people and have their congratulations or them calling. It's just accepting as being part of their community, part of their group, being important to that group.
Yeah.
There was. And that point, being part of the group, being accepted by the group, or being important to the group, it's something that I can totally relate. And also have that need. I have a different strategy to fulfill it, but I can recognize and relate to it. And basically from then on, it was totally different to go to the celebrations. We went several times. And it was totally fine, because it was not like we're going to have some boring birthday or something. Just to support in that, and it totally changed my attitude.
Yeah,
because we celebrated the thing. It was the very fast shift in you. So listening, really hearing what it means. So it's not about the celebration.
So you managed to drop your understanding and meaning of celebrating and to go further. listen to
what was really important. So from then on, we don't have, I think we didn't have any discussions like should we go to some, not a party, but that kind of event, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
This also gets under the category something changed and we don't really know what. Because the funny thing is that all these changes are several small changes that happen to us. And we are not even realizing when they happen. But happening, it just changes our attitude to each other and to the world, actually, to other people. And we enjoy
it. It becomes, living becomes much more easier and fun.
Yeah, so we've got 4 major points now. I think we should stop here. That's enough for now. I had some friends just telling, like giving a message. I invited him to his conversation and he was like, okay, what about the 23rd years of marriage? Does that count? And I said, okay, of course it counts, and that I'll invite him to some talk. So maybe he's watching, and I'm looking forward to that. So, if anybody watching the video would want to share his or her experience and how you've gotten through relationships, partner or children or other kind of relationships, we are open to have a hangout with you and to discuss it. And it would be really fun to have a series of relationship hangouts to explore more and to see how it worked for other people. Because we call it deeper understanding of how we as human beings work through understanding the 3 principles of life, of the human experience. But I know there is a lot of people, couples, and human engaged in relationship out there who manage to have this enjoyable and fun and relaxing relationship with other people without even noticing what they do, what happens. And I will be curious to explore that with them and to ask them, like, well, how does it work for you, and what do you do then? And, thank you very much for listening tonight. I enjoyed a lot the conversation. It was actually more fun than expected. Yes. We're not always managing to drop the expectations. So, thank you.
Leave the comments under the video. Subscribe to the channel. And we'll meet again.
We'll meet again. Bye.